All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, very excited to be talking to an individual set to headline Invicta FC 62, which transpires on May the 16th. We've got Olga Rubin stepping into the cage against Katharina Lehner, and great having Katharina on Bowks Talking Bouts today. How are you doing?
Doing good. I did my last sparring session today, and now I can just relax over the weekend.
Yeah, this is a big fight for sure, and probably exciting too, just with your last fight kind of in the contextual picture. Because I saw you had a post talking about how you were so excited to be back in MMA after almost a 2 year break and getting a W against a UFC vet. So I would think that this next fight would give you a chance to really build some momentum in MMA.
Oh, yes, for sure. I'm super happy that also Shannon always gives me good opponents where I can really prove myself and see like, okay, I'm on that level. And I'm super happy with having Olga as my next opponent.
Yeah, for sure, and definitely a lot to talk about with that particular fight. But I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on that aforementioned performance you had there, getting the win over Shanna Young and getting that victory at Invicta FC 60 in February. What were your main takeaways from that fight there?
Feel like it actually was good to step away from MMA for a year because I feel like my last loss in MMA just came from my mindset I had. I didn't enjoy it. And then I was like, okay, I just do like a year, whatever. And I started missing MMA again. And I also, of course, worked on my striking a lot. And then I was super confident I'm gonna win that fight.
Yeah, what was it that you, I guess, found you maybe developed in that part of the game? Because it was almost like you were talking about like a mindset shift that needed to occur. Like what, I guess, shift transpired in your mindset?
Was never really confident in my wrestling because I mean I started with striking. I started boxing when I was 14. I barely enjoyed wrestling. And then after I found a coach where I would also say his style fits my style, and I just started enjoying wrestling and actually started to wrestle in sparring and build up that confidence like no matter what's going to happen, if it's besides striking, I don't have to be worried about something. And I'm just like now super confident, no matter if it's striking or wrestling exchanges, that I can compete.
I think that speaks volumes to the idea of like just having someone teach something to someone in a particular way, because ultimately a lot of it is like similar techniques, but sometimes it's how it's conveyed to someone. Like it seems like that was like the big kind of game changer for you. So I love to hear that dynamic.
Thank you. Yeah, for example, I learn better when I see something. Like if I have a coach who tries or likes to talk a lot and just shows it once, my brain is like this, and I already forgot what he said. So I'm definitely the type of person I need to see and feel it to learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that really seemed to reflect in the last fight there. And that was also a, prominent fight there and everything, just with that being slated as the co-main event and now the main event for this
Hmm.
card. And Olga Rubin, yeah, definitely a standout combatant. Like, what were the, I guess, initial thoughts when Olga Rubin was offered to you? Like, you were talking about how much you appreciate Shannon giving you these tough fights. Like, I would think Olga Rubin fits well within that for you.
Yes, I know Olga when she fought for Bellator, so I know she's a vet too and fights for a long, long time. I think we actually have the same record. She's 9-5, I'm 9-5. I fought with her on the same card, the last card, and I think it's just good because I mean we both have like kind of same experience, fought on like big stages, fought good people, and I think it's a perfect matchup also to set up who's gonna fight for the title next.
Yeah, because it does read as a title eliminator for sure.
Hmm.
And it is one of those fights too where, like you said, you guys have the anecdotal history in, Bellator and stuff like that. Like it does seem like one of those fights that it's like it almost could have happened a while ago now, but it's almost like the perfect
Yeah.
time in a sense because like you said, you guys both have the matching records, title eliminator. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, me too. I think it's gonna be a good fight.
And I guess to the point of, realizing the potential title stakes attached to this one, like what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on, Jennifer Maia and what she's been able to do with the bantamweight title and all?
Always impressed by Jennifer Maia. I mean, I think she has like over 30 fights. I'm not sure. I don't have it in my mind yet. But I mean, she's super experienced. She fought against Shevchenko. She has really good boxing, so that's kind of makes me excited because I like striking, obviously. And yeah, I mean, I already said like I would fight her immediately.
Yeah, and you got to indulge in some gloved boxing during that time away from MMA. Like obviously you fought in gloved boxing prior to that, but it seemed like a cool showcase to be able to compete on an Alycia Baumgardner undercard there. I saw that fight you had circa
Yeah.
last September. Like what were your
Yes.
what were your thoughts on that whole experience and even just I guess the women's boxing scene now because Baumgardner has signed with MVP and she's
hmm
fighting on that Taylor Serrano 3 card. So like what are your thoughts on just all of that?
I mean, the sport itself, I think it's super fun. The downside about boxing, it's still like a lot of politics involved, for men and female. So if you're not like on the side of the promotion or manager, it's hard to win fights, if you don't knock the other person out. Um, so that's like oftentimes when I get so many offers for boxing fights and you can see, okay, the promoter from that person asks you to fight her, and you know you cannot win if you don't knock her out, and it's like, yeah, I'm happy it's not like this in MMA.
Yeah, that would be frustrating, especially because you were talking about how like the striking disciplines is like really the first love in martial arts, and then it's just yeah, curious situation because it's like I love the sport, the technique, etc., but some of the political considerations, I feel like for a lot of people that can kind of take the love from the game away, or at least like inform that there's like another side of it just beyond enjoying the craft of boxing.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you want to become like a good boxer, the whole thing is they do like 20, 30 amateur fights and then go pro, and the opponents are picked. It's like it's hard. And that's completely different from MMA. I mean, judges sometimes you can like see it different, in MMA, but it's not never that obvious.
Yeah, and you have experience across so many combat sports. Like I thought it was cool that you stepped into the BKFC ring as well. Like it seems like you have a very healthy curiosity and appetite for a lot of different combat sports competition.
Yeah, so I honestly I would do everything like dirty boxing, bare knuckle boxing, karate combat, whatever. Um, Last year I was really like, hey, whatever comes, I'm down for it. And especially like boxing, bare knuckle boxing. I trained boxing all the time anyways. And yeah, it was a super fun experience. It's completely different to normal boxing with no gloves. I was actually the first time in a long time very, very nervous because, like you get hit in sparring with a glove and you're used to that, but you cannot spar with no glove. So, but it was a really fun experience.
So is that something that you would like to indulge more of? I mean, it seems like you're interested in more bare knuckle and just more combat sport in general.
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe do it in a few years, but now I'm like, I have so much fun again with MMA. I'm improving really well, really fast, and I want to stick with MMA now for as long as I can.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and that's great to hear that fire was ignited. I guess I just think it shows how game you are that your bare knuckle fight was against, Jessica Borga, who's since
hmm
become BKFC's first ever women's featherweight champion, and just
Yeah,
yeah, putting away most people in terms of like the knockouts and stuff like that. Like your fight was more of like a cut stoppage, but just a
yeah.
really top level competitor in that game, and shows your gamesmanship too.
Yeah, that's true. I was actually like almost short notice fight for BKFC because I wanted to compete 135. It's very hard for them to find 135ers, and they offered me Jessica Borga, and she's really good. She's very strong, and yeah, got the title now.
Yeah, and just interesting, like talking about titles and stuff like that. Like you previously had contended for Invicta Gold, and I think that's another situation that shows how game you are fighting such an elite women's MMA fighter in Sarah Kaufman. Like, if you get your ideal outcome in this Olga Rubin fight, like, would there be a certain satisfaction to being able to contend for the Invicta FC title again? Like, would it be like a redemptive kind of thing at all, or do you not look at it in that way per se?
I don't look at it that way. But of course, I'm like super thankful when I get a second chance for the title. Um, and I know I'm way more experienced than in, I think it was 2018. Yeah, it was 2018 when I fought Sarah Kaufman, and yeah, the result will be different.
And it was cool that you shouted out karate combat as something that you would want to try a bit earlier because I saw you were actually at an event there a couple months ago. How was that whole experience and everything?
The atmosphere there is crazy. I was like sitting right on the pit, and yeah, it's completely different than MMA fights or BKFC. The audience as well too. But yeah, it was really like impressive because also I think every fight was almost a knockout in karate combat, so it was fun to watch. It was fun.
Yeah, it just seems like such like a great era for not even just combat sports fans, but the combat sports athletes within the game. It just seems like there's so many opportunities to try out so many different things. Like I said, imagine that's exciting for, the competitors within it and, certainly for, fans and media, etc., checking it out.
Yeah, and I mean, like sometimes you have to wait a little bit longer to get a fight offered, and I personally like to stay busy. So let's say I couldn't fight or wouldn't get a fight offer for MMA for 6 months. I think doing something like karate combat actually benefits my MMA career too, because at the end, okay, you have striking, you even have takedowns, you have sort of ground and pound there. So it's just more experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's going to refine certainly some parts of your game. And yeah, no doubt, like you said, there's certain like ground exchanges a bit and whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah, has that been any, has there been any dialogue had with karate combat specifically, or maybe
No,
not so much as
no,
of
no.
yet?
I talked to my manager. I was like, I really want to like compete MMA this year, and stick with that. And that's now the plan.
And obviously very focused on this fight, but in your mind, I mean, just the passion for MMA being back is so cool. Like within that, do you have a certain, I guess, ideal amount of fights you would like to get this calendar year?
I hope I can get three more fights. So Olga and then two more. So I have four fights this year. I mean, I'm healthy. I'm not the youngest no more. I'm 35 years old, and I don't want to wait another like half year or year not to fight. As long as I'm good to go.
Yeah, well, I feel like Shannon has been one of the better promoters in really the entirety of MMA as far as like getting people like regular fights and stuff like that. Like I feel
Yeah,
like, yeah, you've never heard those refrains. I mean, you hear that with like other promotions and stuff like that. Like I mean,
yeah,
even Bellator. I mean, I always liked covering Bellator and
yeah.
no shade, but that would sometimes be a common refrain I would hear from talking to Bellator fighters. But yeah, it doesn't seem like that's ever happened in Invicta really from what I've seen.
No, like every time I talked to Shannon and I was like, "Hey, I want to fight this or this month or soon," she always offered me fights. So yeah, I'm super happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really exciting, like hearing about the desired amount of fights this year, and obviously not overlooking Olga Rubin, but it would seem like if you get your ideal set of outcomes this calendar year, you could, already be a defending champion. Is that kind of like the grand vision for 2025?
Yeah, I mean, we fight now May 16th. If everything works out, I think Jennifer Maia want to fight soon, probably after that. Her last fight was no, when was it? It's a while ago. So if Invicta would book us in July, August, that would be a possibility for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Just such an incredible time to see what's going on in your career and just, yeah, like I said, common refrain, but love to hear the renewed enthusiasm for MMA and just, yeah, great fight with Olga Rubin coming up
Yeah.
here and everything like that. It just seems like a great time for Invicta specifically too, because when I was talking to Shannon Knapp kind of recently. I was kind of addressing the fact that the company has that like, 10-year mark in the sport and not even just like the 10-year component, but it just seems like they're always growing in their own ways and stuff like that, like the broadcast deals they have now and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So just, yeah, it seems huge and great that you're part of the fold and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm super happy about that CBS deal they got. I mean, it's so good for a women's only promotion. Um, and yeah,
Yeah, no doubt. This is a super exciting fight. Two former, title challengers and well-established individuals. Like we kind of talked about your guys' respective histories and Bellator and stuff like that. So yeah, super exciting, no doubt. But I also do want to be mindful of your time and what you're getting up to, Katharina. So is there any final parting thought you might want to add as we're kind of wrapping things up here?
no, that just I'm excited, and I hope all the people watch next week. I think it starts at 6 p.m. On CBS.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome headliner. I mean, title eliminator stakes for sure. It just reads looking at this one, Invicta FC 62, a great headliner on May 16th. I'll certainly be checking out this Olga Rubin fight, but thank you so much for coming on Bowks Talking Bouts, Katharina. All the best with the remainder
Thank
of,
you.
what you're doing leading into the fight. I'll be checking it out when it goes down and have a good rest of your night as well.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.